Greetings, I'm Professor K, and in this short video presentation we're going to see how we go about preparing to do our first homework assignment for the course. So before we get too far along with completing this homework assignment, let's take a look at how we can prepare ourselves so that we can use our time correctly. So what I've done is I've gone up to my documents. You can place this folder anywhere you want. I'm going to use my documents, and I've created a home folder for the course. Inside, I have it broken down by units, and I have a subfolder for each one of those units. Now, whatever I have to download, whatever I have to submit, goes into that unit. All right, so let's go ahead and close this out. All right, back over here at the homework assignment. We're talking about having to complete a couple of case projects, so let's see what this is all about. It says you are a security consultant and arrive at work to find the following customer scenarios presented to you. You can find the customer case projects at the end of chapters 3 and 4 in your textbook. So what do you have to do? Each project requires a unique written response. A report for case 3-1. The report should be at minimum 1 page, double-spaced. A 1-page double-spaced report is approximately 250 words. Now for case 4.2. And an access control list for case project 4-2, and remember to cite any sources you use. Submit the assignment as a Microsoft Word document to the Unit 1 homework Dropbox using the template provided. Okay, so let's take a look at the template. Go ahead and open this up. So you have to read these instructions carefully. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is enable editing. So you're going to go up to this yellow taskbar and you're going to click on where it says Enable Editing. All right, let's go ahead and change the view to a 1-pager. Let's go ahead and increase the zoom just a little bit. Okay, so that's better. So now it says, follow the directions highlighted in yellow, and as each part is complete, delete the directions. If you aren't sure how to complete any step, review the sample document. Part 1, prepare the title page on its own page. All right, so this is the title page. So go ahead and fill out this information. And when you're done, you highlight all this and delete. Push this all back down to the next page. So now we're going to talk a little bit about APA. So it says, begin writing your assignment here on the second page. As you write, tag, or cite each research source you used, including the textbook. Use as many pages as you need, then start the reference section on a new page. Okay, so you have to write at least a 1-page double-spaced response for the first case project. All right, we'll show you how to do that. And then on the second one, you're going to do the same, and you're going to write about ACLs. Here it tells you, for your references, make sure this starts a new page, because that's where the references should be, on a page by themselves at the end of your document. Use a new section for each reference. For each internet reference, complete the CARS checklist for each reference. All right. This will explain how the internet sources chosen are trustworthy. You do not have to complete the checklist for your textbook. Just list the references in the space provided. All right. Easy enough. Okay, so let's close this out and let's take a look at a mostly completed document here that I had put together. All right, so this is the home page. It's all filled out, looks good, nice and solid. This is the start of my case project 3-1, and this is the introduction, or the introduction paragraph. All we're doing here is just setting the reader up by telling them what is going to follow. This paper is going to cover the following. We will look at the following, and we will do the following. And that's how the reader is going to know exactly what it is the paper will consist of and whether or not they need to read it. They're going to get all this information from your introduction. So this is where the project begins, right after the introduction. Do not mark the introduction paragraph with a level 1 headers calling it an introduction. That's not needed. It's understood that the first paragraph in any APA style document is the introduction. All right, so the case project begins on the next paragraph. This is the level 1 header for that case project 3-1. We broke it down into 2 parts using a second level header. The first second level header is going to talk about evading firewalls. When you're done there, you're going to break it out into another second level header talking about evading IDPSs. When you're done there, you're going to start writing about your case project 4-2. You're going to start talking about ACLs. Again, here's the introduction. Tell the reader about what this case project is going to cover and why they should want to read it. Then you're going to talk about creating ACLs. So tell me all about ACLs, provide me with some examples, and just dazzle me as much as you can with your brilliance on the subject of access control lists and how they apply to a router or a firewall. Now you'll note that my paper is all double spaced. The paragraphs are separated by a single double space. I'm using level 1, I'm using level 2 headers. There is a single double space between the second level header and the beginning of the paragraph. And you can continue on it and you can see this all through the document. That's APA style. All right. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to cite our sources. So let's see how we do that. So for this particular homework assignment, the course developer and the course writer provided 2 good references that you could use to help complete the requirement for this homework assignment. Now, let's talk about what responsibility falls on to the student. Students are expected to use outside resources to complete their assignments. So if you don't get all the answers you want from the textbook, and you do not get the answers you're looking for from the resources provided for you within the homework assignment, students are expected to go to the internet and they're expected to do research and find the resources that they need to complete their requirements for both of these case projects. So most students are going to want to cite their textbook. Well, that's fine. That's not a problem. The problem is knowing how to cite it correctly. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the information about my textbook. And let's see what information I need to get. Let's go to the course syllabus. And I don't need all the information, but I do need some of it. Now, the information that I can use to cite my course text is right here, the ISBN. Go ahead and copy that. So I need to cite my textbook. So I'm going to type in citation machine. That's going to take me out here to the first link that I need from the results. Let's go ahead and click on that. Now on this next page, we have to tell it we want to create citations. We want to create an APA citation. Go ahead and click on that. Now the next thing we have to do is select the book option. Now all I'm going to do here is just type in or copy and paste that ISBN number. There we go. Now I'm going to tell it to search for the book. It's going to come back with the results in just a second and tell us that it found it. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead and say select. And on the next page, it's going to tell me everything that it found. I'm going to tell the citation machine to take me to the final step. And then this is what it found and what's going to be present inside of my citation. Everything's done for me. All I have to do now is click on where it says Create Citation. My citation is now created. Now all I have to do is just copy it. I'll do a Control-C, copy it. I'll go back to my paper, scroll on down to my first reference, and then I'm just going to highlight everything inside of reference 1, and I'm going to paste that citation for my book. Now I don't have to do the checklist because this is the book. Now what about a website? Well, I'm going to place that information in here as well, and then we're going to do the checklist. To show you how to properly cite a web page, I'm going to use the two resources that are provided for you within the homework assignment. So we have Nmap Reference Guide and we have Configure Commonly Used IP ACLs. One site is a Cisco knowledge base article and the other one is the reference manual for Nmap. So let's start off with Nmap. All right, so this is the web page that I was taken to. So we know that this is a valid source because this is where Nmap comes from. This is the author's site for Nmap. All right, so let's go ahead and let's click it right here. Copy that URL just like that. Let's go back on over to Citation Machine and let's create another citation. This time we're going to select the option for website. Make sure that you have the option for APA. Website is the source or the type of source that we want to cite. I'm going to go ahead and Control V and paste that URL into the search box. We're now going to search websites. We'll see if this pops up. And there is our website. Let's go ahead and say select. There's the information it found. Let's go ahead and do the final step. Now, unless the website is properly configured with its metadata, Citation Machine or any other citation generator is not going to be able to find information that you need, such as the name of the author, the date it was published, and things like that. That all has to be done correctly on the website for Citation Machine to be able to use it. All right. So we know that it was an incorporation, so we're just going to call it Nmap. And as for the date, well, we can go back over here and we can look. Let's see what happens if we go to the home page and see if there's anything there. Let's see. I don't see anything so far. Sometimes you can right-click on the web page and you can view the page source and see if you can find a date when the page was actually published. I don't see anything in here. All right. Now, what does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean a lot in this case because Nmap is a well-known vulnerability scanner. It is also very well respected, and this site, we know it to be the legitimate site for Nmap. So we know that it's going to be legit. All right, so let's just go ahead and move on. Date published, we don't have that. So let's just go ahead and use the date it was assessed. All right, let's go ahead and create the citation. All right, there's my citation for Nmap. Go ahead and grab it, copy it. Let's take it back over to our document. Let's take everything in yellow and let's delete it. And then I'm going to do a Control V and I'm going to paste in that citation. Now you can do the CARS checklist. Is the author listed? Unclear. Is it trying to sell you something? No. Is the information current? Yes. Is there a date? No. Accuracy check. Is the information written in factual tone? Yes. Is it trying to persuade you to believe something? No. Does it make common sense? Yes. Is everything well written without errors? Yes. Reasonability check. Are positions backed up by reasons? Yes. Is it written emotionally or confrontationally? No. Does it present an address counter arguments? No. Does it mention scholarly research? No. Support check. Is there support for general statements made? We can say yes to that. Are informing sources cited? No. Are professionals and experts listed by name? No. Did you find other sites that agreed with the arguments without copying them word for word? We'll say yes to that. All right. So that's our CAR checklist for that. Now this doesn't mean that the site's not valid. It just means that this is the information we gathered. So there has to be some common sense in the mix when we do this, right? So any professional would know that Nmap is, yes, the scanner of choice. And nmap.org is where we go to get good information about how to use Nmap. And so you would do the same thing for the second resource that was provided for you, or you could find your own resource. So the next thing we need to talk about is how do we do an InText citation. As a rule of thumb, when we talk about APA style, every paragraph on your document that you prepare should have at least one InText citation. One InText citation per paragraph. You can have more, but you should have at least one per paragraph. Let's see how we do that. So here I have my resources that I've gathered, and they're all listed up here inside the citation machine for me. I want to do an InText citation just for the book, and underneath the options I have InText citations. I'm going to go ahead and just click on that. And that takes me out to the next page where I am given a well-formatted InText citation. So now I can just highlight this. I'm going to do a Control-C, copy, go back on over to my paper. Now wherever I use the textbook as a source, and I paraphrased that information that I found from the book, I'm going to insert this InText citation to help validate what I said. So I'm going to go to the end of this particular paragraph and sentence. I'm going to move over that period, one space. I'm going to do a Control-V, and there is my InText citation. And I would do that whenever I used a textbook as a source and I wrote about it in a paragraph. Now you do not have to cite your introduction, and you do not have to cite your conclusion, but everything else should be validated with an InText citation. So when you're all done, all you have to do is just save your document and then upload it to the Dropbox for the homework assignment. Now, remember to come into the course room early in the week so that you don't get stopped on a Sunday night looking at this, banging your head on the keyboard because you don't have time and it's overwhelming you. If you come into the course on, say, Sunday or Monday night, and you start looking at what needs to be accomplished, then you can schedule your time accordingly. All right, that's all I got for you. So if you have any questions or concerns about anything I talked about in this short video presentation, please don't hesitate to reach out and contact your instructor, and I'll see you up inside of the discussions.